Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cossy. We're gonna look at how Arsenal could line up with Ben White. Now apparently we have agreed a deal in principle with Brighton, 50 million euros for a centre back. I was reading the Athletic. Was it the Athletic, or I think it was the Guardian last week, and Real Madrid was saying they could not pay 50 million pounds for Jules Koundé because he is simply a centre back. That's the reason. Well, Arsenal on the other side have decided to spend 50 million pounds on a centre back. So how could we line up with Ben White? What does he bring to this Arsenal side? How does our lineup potentially change with the likes of David Louis leaving the club? Well, of course, Rob Holding has been playing in that area. Do you sell him? Does he stay? Does he become a bench player? Have we signed someone for the bench? Have we signed a new captain? So there are so many questions to the Ben White signing, but for me, my focus on this video is how does he impact that Arsenal lineup? Are we gonna play a back three? That's one of the questions. Are we gonna play a back four with Ben White and probably Pablo Mari or Gabriel Magalhaes playing at centre back? Is he gonna play as a right back? Because at the end of the season, we've seen we have seen Mikel Arteta at the end of the last season trying to play a back three with Rob Holding, Gabriel Magalhaes and Callum Chambers. So he played a back three. So does he want to start playing a back three? As you know, he's been asked a couple of times what he wants to play, and he said it's a 4-3-3, but he doesn't have the quality. So at this point in time, when he gets the likes of Ben White, the likes of Albert Sambi Lokonga, will he eventually play his 4-3-3? So how could Ben White line up at Arsenal this season? That is the main focus of this video. It's a potential lineup. Make sure you smash the like button, make sure you subscribe, and check out OneXpert because they bring you these videos. They sponsor this show, or the shows actually, because they sponsor all my shows. So let us get into it. How could Arsenal line up with Ben White next season? Right, lads, so here we are, and this is our lineup. We are playing, I'm playing a 4-3-3, kind of 4-3-3, but it should be like it should be something like a 4-2-3-1. I'm so in love with the 4-2-3-1 ever since Mikel Arteta started using it. I've been in love with it. I think, you know, we have got so many good results, you know, as a club. Defensive wise, we are not so much exposed, and of course as an attacking unit, it also helps us get you know, in front very, very well. But of course, playing a 4-3-3, that is what Mikel Arteta wants, because he's been with Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, and that is what they've been doing. 4-3-3. He wants those midfielders to be free flowing. He wants that free flowing midfield. And if you look at the players that we're linked with, the likes of Camavinga, the likes of Albert Sambi Lokonga, the likes of Houssem Aouar, you know, they are all free-flowing midfielders. So that shows you what he wants to do next season. But potentially, how could this small, beautiful Arsenal side line up next season with a new centre back? So obviously in goal, there's no question. It's, you know, at the moment it is still Bernd Leno. There's no question about that. At the moment it is still Bernd Leno, unless otherwise things change in you know, in deep down in the transfer window. But if things do not change, if Andre Onana doesn't sign Aaron Ramsdale, I think look, I don't like Aaron Ramsdale. I think Leno is far miles ahead of Aaron Ramsdale in terms of experience, in terms of quality, in terms of talent, in everything. Everything's, you know, is absolutely ahead of him. So in the centre back pairing, because that is where Ben White really affects. That is where his signing really affects. So I would go for Gabriel. Now look, this could be this could be a little bit crazy, and I know many people, you know, will tell me, you know, because you're crazy, but look, I'm not really crazy. I've gone with Gabriel Magalhaes to partner Ben White in my first formation. This is the 4-3-3. So you know, you have Gabriel playing with Ben White, in that defensive pivot. And I think one of the things that makes a good defensive partnership is none other than you having that communication, you having that complementarity. I think that is the word I was looking for. The complementarity. When Ben White is right-footed, Gabriel Magalhaes is left-footed, so you don't have so many trolls shouting on Twitter, two left-footed centre-backs, three left-footed centre-backs playing together. No, I think you have Gabriel who's left-footed, and you have Ben White who's right-footed as well. And I think the ability, because Gabriel really is so exploratory, he loves going forward, is so adventurous on the ball, wants to go forward, take that ball forward and get involved into starting attacks and completing them. I think Ben White is somewhat this, the exact opposite. He's a very, very calm centre back. Yep, he might do some progressions a little bit, go out, go up front, head those balls in, try to drive that ball in, forward and a couple of things like that. But the beauty with Ben White as a player, you have leadership skills in him. First and foremost, the very, very versatile player. You could use him in a 4-3-3, like you see you're playing him as a centre back partner for Gabriel, or you could also play him as a right back. So I'm gonna put Ben White here as well, as a right back. Yeah, so you could play him as a right back, and that is the beauty with such players. They are very, 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 very versatile. You could play him on in a couple of occasions. What this helps you is so easy. If you have all your right backs injured, it's as easy as that. Play right, you play Ben White as your right back, and sincerely, you could have Gabriel Magalhaes play with Rob Holding, or Gabriel Magalhaes play with Wille Saliba, whoever will stay, at the club. So at the moment, I think Arsenal bringing in someone who's gonna be, a rock in that defense. I think what Mikel Arteta is trying to do is, he wants someone he can build his defense around. And personally, I would agree it would be very difficult to build your defense around William Saliba. It would be very difficult to build your defense around Gabriel Magalhaes. But an experienced centre back, 23 years of age is not big experience, almost the same age as Gabriel Magalhaes. They will lack that experience, honestly, because if you had one of them at least 26 to 27, then there is that kind of leadership. There's that kind of experience, pedigree they bring onto the table. But an average age of 23 between two centre backs who are both playing, who are young, actually denies you that ability to have to have experience and pedigree. Of course, Kian Tierney for me remains as Kian Tierney remains as my as my right back. There is no question about that. He signed he signed a new contract. And so I think many Arsenal fans will agree with me. It's Tierney, Gabriel White, and whoever right back, because at the moment I consider Arsenal not to have a right back. But you could also have Cedric or probably Hector Bellerin playing in that area for the moment. But I think the beauty with Ben White is you have him play across a number of areas, and according to statistics and his abilities, and analysis made of Ben White, you could also play him. Now, what I don't really mean that we're gonna play Ben White in three positions at once, but you could also play him in that central defensive midfield, and that is another interesting thing, because if you look at around the Arsenal side, how many players do have that versatility, to play as a right back, a full back, playing as a centre back and a midfielder? They're very, very few. But I've seen a couple of reports suggesting that he can actually play as a CDM very, very well. So probably next season we could have Ben White play as a CDM. So Ben White, these are the three positions where he's very, very strong. You could use him in a 3-4-3 in that area. Let me try to switch if I can get a 3-4-3 just around here just like that. So you could, you could play him in a 3-4-3. We have 3 center backs, White on the right, you have Gabriel, and probably have another player, probably that's Kientiani, to the left or something like that. And that is the beauty with them. He's gonna fit in all your formations. But for me, I've decided to play a 4-2-3-1, and that is my favorite one. So let's just switch back to our 4-2-3-1. Yeah, exactly. That is it. So I've decided to play 4-2-3-1. With Ben White, trying to explore how many positions can he play as a player. So if you play him as a central midfielder or as a CDM, then obviously you're gonna have players like Thomas Partey playing alongside him with the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe playing alongside him as well in that midfield, which would be quite interesting to see how Partey, Smith-Rowe, and White could actually line up, together in the midfield. Left wing, I think it is Nicola Pepe next season. It needs that game time next season. On the right wing, Saka, can he prove to be that kind of player that is consistent throughout, season in, season out? That is the big question. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, will he stop his nonsense and start scoring goals eventually? So how we could line up next season with Ben White: we could have him as a right back, we could have him as a central midfielder, with Partey and Smith-Rowe. We could have him as a centre back, but I think potentially he's gonna be a centre back. So I don't expect a lot of a lot of nonsense from Mikel Arteta. Of course, he does the nonsense, and all of us know he's good at doing the nonsense. But honestly, if you're a good manager, and this is for facts, if you're a good manager, you've got to play your players in their best positions. I think Ben White's best position is playing as a centre back. He's gonna give you a lot. You could play him for 36 games like Brighton did. He could be that pillar around which you build your team, and I think that is what we are bringing at the team. We are bringing assurance, we are bringing credibility, we are bringing strength, we are bringing top-notch talent in the centre back. So Arsenal signing a 50 million defender is amazing, shocking for me. Let us see how good Ben White will be next season. That is how we could line up with Ben White. I'll do one with Nuno Tavares. I'll do one with Albert Sambi-Lokonga, the likes of Kamavinga. We will do many videos about them. Sorry. If this video did get a simple lag, very sorry for that. It's the internet, but we will move.